Howdy, this is Geordie Prepper and welcome to today's Wednesday Weekly World News on 16th of August 2017. First article we're looking at is that the charity McMillan has remained the top charity brand in YouGov study. You've got to realise though that with charities, they're upfront and you donate your currency to them. Once it's gone into their hands, you don't know what they're spending it on. Well, actually you do, because you can go online and you can see the published wages of the top people. A very small percentage of currency raised, which is handed over to charities, actually gets spent on the cause that they're collecting for. Next, we're looking at oligopolies. Now, this is to do with consolidation of businesses. And regards to prepping, whenever you acquire items, there's a manufacturer, there's a distribution chain. Obviously, there's been a supply route involved, and a lot of that is obviously hidden. And in this article here, we're looking at shipping containers and shipping companies and freight companies. And there's been a massive area of concern and upheaval in the freight and shipping alliances around the world. And lots of shipping and freight companies have been consolidated into larger businesses, or they've become much larger because they've consolidated into one entity. Be aware of this when you're prepping goods. It's best to shrink your prepping the items that you get to a much more local market. It negates the problems that could happen with shipping. And we're looking at Yemen now, and there's a massive cholera epidemic. It doesn't seem to be really being reported in the mainstream media, but we can see this country has just been ripped apart by war, the atrocities that go with war. And obviously also what goes with war is disease, and the cholera epidemic has reached 500,000 mark in war-torn Yemen now. So think about all of this in your preps in regards to water, because water is the thing that your body needs more immediately after air and breathing. So you're going to be procuring water very, very quickly in any sort of emergency. And obviously that water needs to be safe. So we've got the Dalai Lama here. Would like to see the NATO HQ moved to Moscow. Yeah, that's not going to happen with all the NATO and American bases, military bases surrounding Russia right now. I think we can see who's the aggressor, and there's absolutely no way that the NATO HQ is going to be moved into Moscow. I mean, he's saying here that, NATO is perceived as a symbol of a hostile force in Russia. Well, when you look at the map and you look at the bases and you look at what's happening, then it's absolutely no wonder. So NATO base in HQ in Moscow, yeah, it's not going to happen. And sticking with these NATO thugs, the NATO jets in the Baltics have scrambled 8 times last week to escort Russian aircraft. I think Russian aircraft are perfectly capable of travelling from A to B without these thugs intervening. Flashpoints all over the place, just keep an eye on them, and obviously if you're in the area, and indeed in general, just be prepared and be safe.